So we finally have a date. Wednesday, 26th of November is budget day, and I'm sure it's going to be a really important day for people in later life with their financial and their tax planning. The Chancellor's in a really difficult spot. The current projected financial black hole is looking to be anywhere between 20 and 40 billion pounds by the time the budget comes round, and that's really as a result of lower than expected economic growth, lower than expected tax yields as a result of the previous tax changes, lower than expected government spending cuts. We had the U-turn on the winter fuel payments, the disability payments. So a combination of all of those things means that we're looking at a black hole of anywhere between 20 and 40 billion pounds that needs to be found in November. And the Chancellor's in quite a difficult spot because she's got her non-negotiable fiscal rules where the nation's going to have a current accounts surplus by 2030. She's constantly said that that's fixed and they can't be watered down. It's highly unlikely that there's going to be a cutting of any of the Labour government's spending commitments on things like social housing. It just doesn't seem politically palatable. So all of the talk is around increasing taxes again this November. And as I said, it's going to have quite a big impact upon people in later life with your financial plans, and it's well worth kind of revisiting things when tax changes. So let me take you through some of what's been talked about currently. There's been a lot of talk about the wealth tax. You may have seen that in the news. So it's been mooted that on ultra high net worth people that there will be a 2% tax charge on assets above £10 million. I would say that's probably pretty unlikely, given that the experience of wealth taxes around the world shows that it doesn't actually produce any extra revenue, because these ultra high net worth people tend to be pretty mobile and they tend to just leave the country if these wealth taxes are brought in, but never say never. There's potential talk about a brand new property tax which would replace stamp duty. It's been mooted that it would be an annual tax charge on homes valued above 500,000. Again, it seems unlikely. It seems more of a kind of a long-term implementation period, and as we know, the Chancellor doesn't really have long-term. She needs the revenues now, so seems unlikely. Also, there's the challenge of people who are asset rich, cash poor, on how they would meet those annual obligations on their property tax charge. That would seem challenging, and it also might have unintended consequences around, dampening the property market. So property tax, never say never, but it's a possibility. They may tinker with inheritance tax again. There's talk of radical changes around lifetime gifts. So currently you can gift unlimited in your lifetime for inheritance tax purposes, but there's talk that they might bring in an annual cap for that, or a lifetime cap. There's talk of increasing the survival period. So currently, if you survive 7 years, any gifts are outside your estate. There's talk of increasing that to 10, 15 or 20 years. There's talk about tinkering with the taper relief rules to make them harsher. Currently, if you survive 3 to 4 years, the inheritance tax gets reduced. So watch this space on any changes to inheritance tax. In terms of income tax, it's a difficult one for the government because they said that they're not going to introduce tax charges which affect working people, if you remember. Incidentally, if they increase the income tax rates by 5%, that would solve the problem completely. It's not going to happen. What they might do is freeze the allowances, the thresholds on income tax for another 2 years up to 2030. That's a possibility. They may look at capital gains tax, increasing capital gains tax. Again, all the analysis shows that if you increase capital gains tax, the actual tax revenue actually decreases because people just don't sell assets as a result of the extra tax charge. They may look at pensions again. Ever since I've been an advisor over 20 years, there's been talk of reducing the higher rate, the valuable higher rate tax relief on pension contributions. So they may look at that, introducing a flat rate, 25%, 30% has been talked about. They may tinker with the tax-free lump sum again. So there's various potential changes to taxes in November that might be worth looking at. If you are thinking of doing some planning anyway in the autumn, you might want to get on with it. If there's potential for things to be more detrimental to your personal circumstances, I wouldn't do any kind of changes based on a rumour, but if you were going to go ahead with some planning anyway, it might be worth kind of looking at that. I will be putting out regular articles and videos on what's been talked about in the financial press, what kind of press releases the governments are putting out there. Most importantly, I'm going to be doing a post-budget live face-to-face event on Wednesday, December the 3rd. So look out for details on that, look out for the venue and the time and book yourself on it. At the event, I will be taking you through all of the changes in the budget in November. I'll be looking back at the changes in the budget, the first Labour's budget as well, which some of which haven't been implemented yet. And I'll be taking you through some of the financial planning actions that you can make to mitigate some of these tax changes. You'll have the opportunity to ask me questions based on your circumstances at the event. So definitely book yourself on the post-budget event, and hope to see you there. And I'll see you at the next videos. And as I said, keep your eye out for articles and videos over the autumn to keep you posted on what's happening all about the budget November 2025. Okay, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.